Hello folks, welcome to another Wild Astro Wild Camp. If you're just joining us for the first time, thank you so much for clicking on this link or clicking on the film. Welcome to Wild Astro, it's great to see you here. You're joining a community so far of about 800 subscribers who have followed me on my journey so far, and I hope you're going to be one of my new followers, so stick with me. What I'm doing today is heading off for my first ever 2-night wild camping trip. I am heading to the Lake District. If you've watched Wild Astro from the beginning, you'll know that this is my first time heading to the Lake District with the channel. Been there before on family camps and that sort of thing, but never been there and really dug into the wild side of things. So that's the plan for today. 2 nights, 3 days of walking around the Lake District. I'm going to try and base myself. Plan A is to base myself around Haweswater and head up into the hills, probably onto High Street and in the direction of Haweswater, and see how that goes. So come and join me. It's almost certainly going to be wet. It could be windy, but either way, it's going to be a couple of wild nights in the Lake District. Welcome to Wild Astro. Okay, welcome to Horsewater, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not camping anywhere near here. I want to make that clear because there are signs at the car park saying that camping's prohibited in this area. So we are heading up the Nan Bield Pass today, up towards Tarn and that kind of direction, up onto High Street. We're going up there. You can see the waterfalls coming down the side there. We're following those up basically. So there's not a lot to say. I'm just going to crack on because I think this might take me a while. And I'll speak to you again in a little bit. So, as I said, the Lake District is somewhere that I've been camping on family holidays for a few years. It's about a 3.5 mile journey for me from Telford. A bit more than that now we've got kids, but yeah, I know it. I know the western half of the Lake District quite well, but the eastern side, other than the area immediately around Windermere, I'm not so familiar with. Having said that, my favourite of all the lakes lies in the east, which is Haweswater. I'm hoping to find a camping spot overlooking Haweswater today. Now I know that some pretty wet weather is following me up from the south today. I drove through it. It's a pretty wide band of rain that is forecast to reach here early evening. It's about 3 o'clock now, so I've got, I reckon, 4 hours maybe, 3.5, 4 hours to get to where I'm going. So it's going to be a bit of a mission because I'm not that quick on the uphills.
and we've got a lot of up to go in this first section. So I better get my head down and crack on. So we're just about to reach small water over this ridge here. This gorgeous little brook cascading over this precipice behind me is Small Water Beck. Makes its way down and joins Mardale Beck down in the valley there. Isn't that lovely? That is lovely. Absolutely gorgeous. Reminds me a lot of Cadair Idris, for those people familiar with Snowdonia. Beautiful. Now, I don't say this lightly, because I do think you have to be completely prepared, but I think this would be a good target if you were wild camping for the first time and you live in the Lake District vicinity, because it's easy to get to. This particular tarn is not all that far from the car park, and I've seen one or two nice spots on my way up here that you could pitch at, and there are a few around the tarn here. And if you decided you needed to bail in the middle of the night for whatever reason, as long as you had the right lighting, you could get back down to the car quite easily. So that's my tip for this particular tarn above Haweswater, is that as long as you have got the leave no trace ethos firmly lodged in your mind and you have the right footwear, this might be a good opportunity for a first timer. It's absolutely stunning. Lovely to see that the Lake District Park authorities are attempting to encourage some tree growth around here. These look like small hawthorns in these cages here. It will look a stunning place if they manage to reach maturity with them all. I do like these. I'm sure it's young Mr. Messner's videos that these popped up on. Shelter for one. You could possibly get two in there if you fancied getting snuggly. That one's a little bit ramshackle, but you wouldn't turn your nose up at it on a stormy evening. Right, that's our route, straight up past those sheep. Okay, well, I'm not too proud to admit that I've changed my plans already. Yeah, the rain has started to roll in now. It's followed me up from the south. and I was just enjoying being around this this little tarn so much that the thought of going up there while it's raining sort of put me off a bit. So what I've done is I've pitched up, found a lovely spot. I'm overlooking the tarn just there. One or two people have set up at the far end of the tarn down there. That's a little bit too path side for me, that, but I have got myself a gorgeous pitch. Love it here. Very, very nice indeed. There's the Lanchantou overlooking the tarn with a gorgeous view out of the door there as well. Let's hope that stays and the clag doesn't roll in too badly. I'm going to get squared away and have a coffee and a pot noodle. So, it's pretty wet, but we'll just take it in our stride and deal with it, I suppose. I'm not going to be bored. I've got plenty I can read and do in here. What do you get up to when you're reined in and you've got about 2 square meters of space? I'm going to read. I've got a bit of signal here, a bit of 4G signal, so I'm going to keep you lovely people updated on Facebook and Instagram and 1 or 2 other social media outlets. But hey, we're out, and that's all that matters. Yeah, I've got some other YouTube filmmakers to catch up with as well, so yeah, I've got plenty to do. Whether that plenty will last the length of time I'm in here, I don't know. We shall see. Okay, so I thought this might be a good opportunity, as I'm sort of reined in at the moment, to do a proper actual thoughts down review of what I've made of the new Trekology UL80 sleeping mat. I've talked to you a little bit about my first findings. You've seen Elliot's thoughts on it. He spent a night on it last week on the Long Mynd. I have now spent 6 nights on this mat, and I thought it was time that I go through a few facts, figures, and what I actually really like about it, and mention any things that I think possibly could be improved. So the Trekology UL80 sleeping mat costs about 45 quid from Amazon at the moment. There's a link in the description below if you want to have a look at that. It is an Amazon affiliate link, so be under no illusions. If you do click on that link and end up buying the mat from there, I'll get a little bit of a kickback from that. It's just Amazon's way of thanking me for sending the custom their way. Please don't be offended by it. If you don't want to do that, then by all means go and buy it elsewhere. But I think, touch wood, I think Amazon's price is the best out there at the moment, if they've still got it in stock. And of course, you know, everything just helps me to continue making these videos if you do decide to buy that way, but don't feel you have to. So the UL80 mat, I have gone ahead and purchased the Sea to Summit Airstream bag to go with it. Now, this was a recommendation from somebody on one of the Facebook groups that I'm a member of. It is an ultra sill, basically a dry sack. It's not a compression sack, but it is a lovely thin, extremely lightweight ultra sill material. It's lovely, beautifully made bag, and it's got on the bottom of it this. It's basically the same valve as a Sea to Summit a schnozzle bag, an Alp Kit schnozzle bag, and it fits the Trekology mat valve perfectly. It's absolutely brilliant. It's got a little foot stirrup to stand on so that it doesn't go slipping away from under you, and it inflates the UL80 mat in about 6 bagfuls. It's absolutely fantastic, and it's light enough that all you've got to do is hold it open and just give it a little blow like that, and you've got a full bag. It's fantastic. So that's just a little aside. That's a little accessory that I've bought to go with the Trekology mat. There's a link down below for this as well, although I don't think Amazon have got the cheapest price on this at the moment, so it's probably worth having a look around. So I'll pop that to one side for a minute. The UL80 mat. I'm going to cut this short. I love it. It's brilliant. I can't fault it in any way other than one, and it's the one that I mentioned in a previous video, is that there's not enough fine adjustability on the valve for me. I like to be able to lie on the mat and gently let some air out to get just the right kind of pressure in it for me, and you can't really do that on this. You have to get off the mat, you have to pop the valve out very, very carefully in case you let too much air out. If you do let too much air out, you've got to inflate it again. Someone suggested to me that perhaps the best way to do it is to start with it soft and then blow more air into it, but you still got the same issue. You can't lie on it while you're adjusting it to find the right pressure, if you see what I mean. But other than that, I think this is an absolutely fantastic mat. If Trekology, listen to this guys, Trekology, if you release a thermally insulated one of these with an R value of 5, 6, or even something to compete with something like the Thermarest of 7, you release a thermally insulated version of this for less than £100, you will sell out every single one you ever make, because this is a brilliant mat. And come the winter, I think the only thing stopping me reaching for this every single time is going to be the R value, which is between 1 and 2, something like that, I believe, if the figures are to be trusted. Other than that, guys, I cannot say enough good things about the Trekology UL80 sleeping mat. Get one. Get one. If you can find somewhere that's got them in stock, get yourself one of these mats. It folds up so ridiculously tiny. It is so unbelievably light. It is less than half the size of my Thermarest pad when it's rolled up. And it is, I believe it's about 80 grams lighter than the Thermarest pad when it's in its bag. And that's it. If you are a wild camper, if you are any kind of camper at all, get yourself a Trekology UL80 mat, because it is spot on. Well, hello. Unexpectedly and all of a sudden, we've got a brief window in the weather. And the rain has stopped, which is nice. Yeah, you can see what's going on up here. And the pass that I was going to head up over is pretty claggy up there. I wonder how long this is going to last. Well, it's not too breezy. I wonder if I can achieve something drone-ish. To say the rain has stopped for now, and I've just managed to get some nice drone shots and a couple of short time lapses.
And I'm gonna call it a night now. The lights dropped too low for any more filming outside. So I've got the old Goal Zero hanging in the tent here just to say goodnight to you all. And that's pretty much it. The forecast has followed pretty much exactly as it said it was going to. So tomorrow is a bit of a grey area. I'm not quite sure what the plan is for the morning until I see it. There is still a possibility that we'll cut and run, because I think tomorrow night is billed to be pretty savage, but we'll see. I have 2 nights booked. I have 2 nights available until Friday, so if we can, we will. The rain has just started again. And the wind is making its presence felt. Okay. Right. This could be a rough night, but I'll let you know all about it in the morning. Night, folks. Well, I said I'd see you in the morning. I didn't think it'd be this early. The weather just kicked my ass. There's no other word for it. My first ever wild camping trip, Cadair Idris sent me packing before it was even dark. Last time up Cadair, I thought I was going to have to cut and run, but it was the smart decision to stay, and with a quick running repair on the Lanshan, I was back in the game until the morning. This time, no chance. No chance. I don't know what damage there is to the Lanshan. I don't know if there's damage to the Lanshan or whether it was just pegs coming out. It very nearly became an expensive kite, with me still inside it. That was the closest I've been to panic, I think. But I managed to keep my head together, stay calm, gradually get everything stuffed back in the pack, and then get the tent roughly gathered together and in the pack. And obviously I did everything humanly possible to make sure I left no trace up there. That wind made Cadair Idris look like child's play. That was the real deal. And if there are tents out there that can stand up to that, they're worth every penny they ask of you. I needed both trekking poles to hold myself up all the way down. There was absolutely no question of filming that descent at all. The only question in my mind now is, do I try and grab some sleep here because I got none up there? Or do I head for home straight away? Okay, so what do we take from this then, folks? Confidence has taken a little bit of a dent, but I'm quite proud that I managed to keep my head. I didn't panic, and I calmly got packed away, talked myself through some of it as well, found my way back across the hillside to the path, and then gradually made my way down the path back to the car. I'll have to take stock of damage in the morning. I don't think there have been any losses. I'm pretty sure I got everything together, including all my litter from dinner. So fingers crossed that there is no damage to any gear when I get it all out at home. I'll update you on that, and I'll talk to you again in a little while, probably when it's daylight again. Okay, folks, so not sure what that goes down as. Bit of a write-off, I'm afraid, I think. Still, it was an experience, and all experience is valuable as long as we learn the lessons from it. Again, I think the smart decision was made, because there's no way the Lanshan was staying up in that wind. Not in a million years. I realised, thinking about it, that the wind changed direction during the night. When I got there, it was blowing off the lake and up the hillside, so it was sort of pushing me back against the hill. When the tent failed, it was the other side of the tent that went. It was blowing me towards the lake, and that's what frightened me, I think, more than anything else, was that I was on a bit of a precipice overlooking the lake. So if the tent had really gone, you know, turned into a kite with me inside it, that could have been a really sticky situation. So the right decision was made. Stayed calm, got off the mountain. No one's hurt. Possibly a bit of damage to one or two bits of gear, but I won't know until I get them out again at home. And home is where I'm heading. So a 2-day trip, or a 2-night trip, has turned into barely a 1-night trip, and I'll have been out of the house for less than 24 hours. So, it is what it is, and we take it all as part of the learning curve of wild camping. Folks, thank you ever so much for joining me. I'm sorry I couldn't bring you what I promised at the start of the film. You know, those 2 nights of camping. Perhaps the most frustrating thing for me is the fact that on my way down the mountain, then the skies were clear, I could see stars, but I just couldn't stop to get the camera out. I couldn't do anything at all other than just get myself safely down that mountain. So I do apologise, and I hope you've enjoyed it anyway. As I said, I'm taking it as a learning experience, and in time I'm sure I will come to enjoy the memory of it. But hit that like button, folks. Leave any comments or questions you've got below. Consider subscribing to the channel if you're not already. If this is your first visit to a Wild Astro video, then thank you, welcome. Thank you for clicking on the film, and welcome, and I hope to see you again when next time hopefully we'll get a full night out under the campus. I'm going to call it a day, and folks, again, thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you again on another Wild Astro trip. So this is Richie for Wild Astro, signing off.